Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome to the final part of Resident Evil 3 commentary. Yeah, escape sequences now. Expect basically the same shit you've gotten in every other Resident Evil game to this point. Run the fuck away, panic time, boss your way through enemies, you know, in this really tense escape sequence. Be surprised by a final boss, you know, find somebody fucking else, whatever. Plot twists aplenty, final revelations or whatever sort of shit. And of course, as is Resident Evil tradition at this point, I'm hoping of red hot, sexy, naked zombie action. Yeah, you can't go one fucking game without naked zombies, and in terms of the remake, I don't think they appear actually, like in Resident Evil 3. At least not to my knowledge, anyway. So, yeah. You're spared high-definition naked zombie penis in all its glory. I suppose so. Anyway. Assuming there were no female scientists who were naked zombies, which would probably be rather titillating to viewers in this very inclusive world. One thing I will say about this part is that it is also heavily cut down in terms of stuff, so again, cutscenes will be kind of conjoined together during periods where you're gathering items, and at the same time, yeah, just I try to condense this down a little bit more to the most exciting bits. Again, it is very cutscene heavy because, you know, this is the final stretch, and it is also the part where you will be seeing, like, you know, a lot of how, you know, Jill and Carlos are going to get out of this mess. And yeah, you know, the final battle, obviously, which is going to take up a significant chunk of this. I wouldn't say a significant chunk, but I will say, like, a major part of this thing. Because, yeah, obviously, with Nemesis, the fact that Nemesis dies here, and the fact that Jill lives on to Resident Evil 5 with very, like, confusing plot reasons? Question mark? Yeah, we gotta finish Nemesis off here, so fuck it. In terms of escape sequences, though, I'd say it does the job fine enough. Like, again, it's Resident Evil, it's an escape sequence, as you know and love it. I don't know, like, I mean, I wouldn't say it surpasses the tension of Resident Evil 2 or 1, really, but, like, I mean, it just does its job serviceably. Not really too sure if this is going to contribute to my final thoughts on the game or not, but I mean, it does make Resident Evil 3 a very tough game to talk about in terms of what it does, and how it really sticks out, because, like, I mean, besides Resident Evil 4, which is the one game everybody's fucking played, but, like, I mean, in terms of the classic Resident Evil series, Resident Evil 2 is usually the one talking point I found from my experiences, but Resident Evil 3, on the other hand, I mean, it is really well received in terms of the fanbase, but, like, I mean, I guess, maybe, again, this might just be my lack of experience talking here, so, like, I mean, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but, like, I mean, it might just be the fact that, you know, this game is so serviceable that perhaps it fails to stick out in a few specific ways. I don't know. I think I might save a lot of this for my final thoughts, but again, I have no tangents, I have nothing else of value to really say, it's just going with the flow, really. But, like, I mean, again, and I think I might have brought this up in many earlier parts, but I mean, I have to say the musical score here is absolutely palpable. Masami Ueda has done a fantastic job with the Resident Evil 3 soundtrack, and I think Resident Evil 3 specifically in terms of its musical tracks is by far, like, I mean, I'd say it is actually, like, it's very fitting to the situation, I'd say. And, again, given that this is Masami Ueda on, you know, the soundtrack here, I don't know, man, like, I think he just got better and better the more he went on, because, like, I mean, comparing his soundtrack in Resident Evil 1, which was very, well, I'd say very dated in, like, a very mid-90s kind of B-movie kind of way, I think he did gradually improve as he went on in the series. Like, I mean, Resident Evil 2 soundtrack sounding a lot more iconic, for the lack of a better phrase, and Resident Evil 3 suiting the atmosphere to absolute perfection. By the time he hit Devil May Cry, the dude was in his fucking stride, because, good lord, man, that soundtrack is fucking excellent. Again, like, if there's anything I can say about Resident Evil 3 is that, like, its soundtrack is immaculate, and the whole game as a whole package is just fantastic. suppose there isn't really much to say in terms of what, like, this final area really gives off. Like, I mean, I'd say, comparing this to the Resident Evil 3 remake, it doesn't really do the escape sequence, like, right out the bat like it's going through here, because, like, I mean, again, this might be due to the fact that Resident Evil games had kind of a formula at this point, but yeah, like, I mean, in remake, it doesn't exactly go to this sort of route, like, it kind of saves this for after the final Nemesis battle. Because, I mean, at this point in the remake, Nemesis is completely mutated to a far different form than what we'd seen before, but, like, I mean, here, well, I'd say what you're going to be seeing in the upcoming boss battle with Nemesis, it's going to be basically what it was as of, like, the parking lot garden area in Resident Evil 3 Remake. Again, a lot of this, I think, was done for expediency's sake and for the sake of kind of honouring the game's more action-oriented origins, but yeah, just two different approaches to handling the game, really. I don't know what to say, like, I mean, the atmosphere is fucking palpable, dude. Well, I don't have any fucking tangents to say, really. Again, I would have condensed the escape sequence, but I mean, like, it's Resident Evil tradition, but, so, you know, gotta keep it in. Gotta keep it in. In terms of anything else, though, well, I mean, like, again, like always, this is your last chance to prepare, get your items and shit together, and just sort of enjoy the game's atmosphere for what it is. And Resident Evil 3 is packing an atmosphere, as I have mentioned so many times in the past. Like, I mean, that sort of futility, like, I mean, really the fact that everything is on the razor's edge, like, I mean, it does add so much to the game, and like, I mean, again, if there's been anything that I can say that it's better to play rather than watch, with this commentary specifically, is that Resident Evil 3's atmosphere throughout the entire game has been so palpable. Again, it has been so fucking... Again, it's laid thickly throughout the entire game, and more than anything else, I think that is what the game should be remembered for. Again, we are nearing the end here, so I do apologize if this is just coming off as sort of redundant commentary that's just double-crossing old... Not double-crossing, excuse me. That's just sort of repeating old points for the sake of, you know, having something to say at all, but I mean, it does kind of give you pause for thought about Resident Evil 3's reputation, and just really the sort of game that I think should be more respected in the fandom than it really is. Like, I mean, it is, I think in terms of at least classic Resident Evil fans, it is considered one of the good ones, but in terms of, like, the series overall, I think it is a very important game, and one that both in Remake and in the original, I think should be given its dues a lot more. Because, I mean, like... Well, I mean, like, as a game, it started off as something that was meant to be just disregarded as a complete side story. It then ended up, you know, because Resident Evil 4, that eventually became Devil May Cry, was pushed to 2001, it was eventually given, you know, dual battling status between this and Code Veronica. Why did it win out from Code Veronica? Well, mainly because of Sony, but also because of the fact that, well, I guess maybe, again, besides the reasons I already mentioned, that somebody saw something in the game, and, well, it just sort of became the third title, and while I do think its status as a side game is a little bit more prevalent to me now than what it would have been when I first played it, at the same time, though, it is completely worthy of its legacy, and again, I can't help but respect the game because of that. Again, I know it sounds like I'm delving into final thoughts at this point, but, you know, what better time than now to really talk about the game's high points, really? It's fantastic. Like, I mean, I honest to God can't get enough of this game's utterly beautiful fucking atmosphere, man. But alas, to talk about things a little bit more relevant to the plot, this is where a lot of the meandering usually takes place, because again, we have a whole sort of spiel with Nikolai, then we have a bit of waiting around with Carlos. Again, this upcoming cutscene will explain it all, so I'll take a drink of the beer. I mean Pepsi, I mean whiskey, I mean Pepsi, I mean, whatever.
You're still alive. Such persistence.
Nikolai?
Sorry, but there is no escape for you.
So, you want to get out of here alone? Is that your plan?
I made certain none of the other supervisors survive. Since I'll be the only one who knows what really happened, I'll have more luck when it comes to discussing my bonus.
Then why kill me? I'm not on their payroll.
They want to eliminate it for reasons of their own. The amount is modest, but there is a reward claimed upon the confirmation of your death. Although I'm sure I'll miss you, it's time to say goodbye. You can either accept death with dignity or die with regret. It's entirely up to you.
Jill, what happened?
Carlos, Nikolai beat us to the chopper.
I guess this is it then. But I don't want to die in a place like this. This isn't over yet. I'm not giving up, Jill. We still have a chance. Jill! That's it. We've got to find a way out of here. Now!
Warning. Missile attack confirmed. Warning. Missile attack confirmed. Emergency level D. All personnel evacuate immediately.
So, yeah. How about the mods, huh, dudes? Again, to go into a little bit more tension about the remake here, really. Nikolai doesn't get away in the... Well, okay, I mean, he can, in a certain, like, non-canon alternate ending if you're a complete fuck-up like me. But, like, I mean, yeah, like, I think... Well, again, I think, because I haven't given this a second playthrough, so I don't know if there's, like, certain things that change, like, if you go back to the game on specific difficulties or whatever, but, like, I mean, I'd say, and again, I'm making more of a general assumption here, because it lacks the sort of choice system that Resident Evil 3 original had, yeah, he doesn't escape in a helicopter as he does here, but, like, I mean, at the same time, like, you know, again, what happens in the remake is that, again, you do take care of Nikolai, and, you know, gets his ass kicked, stop him, get away in a helicopter, and, again, well, if I can discuss differences between the original and the remake. In the original game, as we're going to be seeing here, there are two different endings. The first ending of which is Jill and Carlos escape on the helicopter alone. And the second ending is the one we're going to be seeing here, so I'm not going to spoil that for the time being, but it involves a certain returning character who doesn't really come back aside from Resident Evil Revelations 2, not counting the multiplayer. So, like, I mean, I'll stay my tongue on that until we get to it. But I mean, in Resident Evil 3 Remake, we do not get the return of that character, much to our fucking shame. And, well, yeah. We killed Nikolai, we escaped Raccoon City, and because we know that we will make it together. And I'm not gonna be singing anymore. Why am I talking like this? Yeah, as you can no doubt tell, things are about to heat up here. All these dilapidated pieces of machinery, and a giant gun-looking thing. Ain't this just interesting? Yeah, I'll talk about differences between what's gonna happen here and the boss fight in the Resident Evil 3 remake, because, spoiler alert, we're about to meet up with a... Well, we're about to meet up with a certain familiar face that we'll be seeing for the next time, for the last time. dramatic music thing, close thing, whatever. But yeah, be prepared for this one, because it actually does take a bit of... Well, I wouldn't say too much timing, but it does require a little bit from the player.
Battery connected.
Yep, this is the final form of Nemesis. All our dreams, all our... fuck it, whatever. It's all gonna end tonight, baby, and oh my god, he's naked! Which he basically reached this point by the time of the garden segment in Resident Evil 3 Remake. But yeah, this is his final form, and I guess to a certain extent it does also add a certain degree of, like... I guess speciality, because I mean, by the time you face him in the remake, he is this giant hulking mess of... proportions akin to what William Burton was in Resident Evil 2. But yeah, there is a few differences between this boss fight and what it was in Resident Evil 3 Remake. I wouldn't say too much, but in Resident Evil 3 Remake it was more so like shoot the sore spots, get him stunned, and basically use what was the giant cannon in this version to basically like a giant railgun to completely decimate Nemesis. But again, to talk about the talk about the differences between this boss fight and this, yeah, basically, you want to get him into the path of the laser, and that will ostensibly kill Nemesis. Can be a bit finicky to do, because, like, I mean, if you don't get him into the right position, well, you are kinda screwed, dude, and that is no bueno. But, like, I mean, again, at the same time, with a bit of timing and, I suppose, luck on your side, really, it isn't too difficult to pull off, because, like, I mean, you know, you can manipulate Nemesis if you know what you're doing, so... Like I said before, it takes a bit of skill from the player, but like, I mean, at the same time... Again, if you miss, you're gonna be waiting for a fair while, because the cannon does need to charge up. And, well, given that it's an experimental piece of technology, not exactly the most reliable fucking thing. But, you know, again, if you can get him stunned, bada bing, you do the thing, and Nemesis is toast, dude. And I suppose in terms of climactic final boss fights, well, I'd say Resident Evil 3 does the job quite nicely. Like, I mean, I don't want to say it has anything on, like, William Burton, but it does come a nice close second, I find.
Warning. System overheating. Entering cooldown mode.
not that I'd really recommend doing so, but like, I mean, it is so fucking satisfying to just sit there and watch Nemesis fucking burn to death, dude, like, After all the game, like, after he handed you all the fucking game, that is satisfying, man. But, I mean, you know, we've kind of got to get the fuck out of here, so... You know, not exactly the best time to be fucking around, so... Let's get a move on. But, like, I mean, I will say, like, I mean, in terms of getting rid of the annoying monkey off your back... Again, Resident Evil 3 really knows how to satisfy the player, and, mwah! Fantastic. Ooh, who is this? The plot thickens, even though we don't really have any plot left.
Jill!
It's over, Carlos.
What are you talking about? Don't you hear that? There's a second chopper, and it's here to rescue you.
But who is it? Who could possibly be looking for me?
It doesn't matter. We just have to be there when it lands.
You saved us.
I couldn't let you die.
Is it you?
Are you ready to finish this?
It's coming.
Yeah. It's the end.
That's it. Umbrella's going down.
And now we have a rather unfortunate turn of events. It seems that the President and the Federal Council have passed judgment over the civilians of Raccoon City. The President and Federal Council have ruled that the Backless Terminate operation is the best course of action for this extreme situation, and have since executed. Based on that fact, Raccoon City has been literally wiped off the map. Current reports have the death toll surpassing the 100,000 mark. Our hearts go out to those poor civilians of Raccoon City.
And so, dudes and dudettes, that was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis / The Lost Escape. And, well, I mean, first things first, I really fucking love this ending piece. I don't care if this plays in the microphone, I wanna fucking listen to it. What a fucking great game, man. Again, like, I really don't go back to this one as often as I fucking should, but Resident Evil 3, you know what, I think I've said all that I fucking need to about the game. Commentary-wise, though, I feel fucking ashamed. Like, ignore the fact that I was kind of inebriated during the last two parts, and kind of a bit during the early parts, if you could pick up on my voice. This is definitely one for the redos, because this wasn't my best work. I'm still putting it out because, you know, fuck it. But at the same time, it's a fucking solid game, because we will make this together. And I really do love that Resident Evil 3 Remake fucking keeps this, rather than replacing it with some fucking shitty alternative rock track like they did in Resident Evil 2. Again, the game as a whole is fucking amazing. I would argue that Resident Evil 3, out of all the classic Resident Evils, is the one that holds up the best out of them all. Tank controls, you know, the whole game is fantastic. Again, like, I mean, if you're in the mood for picking up, like, survival horror games for the PS1, and want one that's, you know, not only very polished in terms of its gameplay, has a very solid story and a decent voice cast to boot, pick Resident Evil 3 up. I think you'll have a really good time with it. And you know what? it's a game that I'm gonna revisit, you know, a lot more often than I really do, because we will make it together. Again, I'm just sort of joking about at this point. But anyway, at this point in Skully's Spookfest, I believe at this point we'll be moving on to Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Riku scenario. So I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and see you later, bye.